Hi everyone, and welcome to my 30-day coding challenge where I'll try to learn to code a fully functioning website in 30 days. This was day 27. So let's just go ahead and review what I did today and also see what are the next steps. Right, as you would remember from the last video yesterday, um, this was the last day for me to complete the backend, and I almost finished it. As you could see on the screen, it's about 630 lines of code in Go, which handles pretty much everything in the backend. There are a few things which needs to be added into it, which we will do once we have the front end as well, so that it becomes easier for us to do the testing, and we will be able to find bugs much more easier. So for now, we have most of the game logic in Go. As you can see, there are now about 10 APIs which do their own functions, and it starts with uh, handler health, which is just to see whether the APIs are communicating with the backend or not. Then you have handler table, which sets up the table. Then you have handler join, which will enable a person to join the table. Then you have handler leave. If someone wants to leave before finishing the game, then they can leave from that logic. And then you have handler player. It is just to define a player, what a player look like when they join the table, how many chips they have. And there are some conditions as well that you need to equip a player with, such as like they would join a table with no cards, they should join a table with a certain amount of chips. So these are the things that you need to define in there for us to enable a standard player. And then you have a handler start. This is just to set up the game, like to start the game. And then you have handler next phase. This is just to continue the game into the next phase, let's say from pre-flop to flop to turn to river. So that's handle that logic. And then you have handler fold. If someone wants to fold, then they can fold via this button or this function. And then you have handler check and handler call. So handler check would enable a player to check the hand, and handler call would enable a player to call the bet and potentially raise as well. I haven't added the raise logic yet, but for now we are keeping things simple, so they would be able to call from here. And that's pretty much it. There's only one or two handlers left that I'm going to be probably adding them tomorrow morning. So that would be about showdown, if someone wants to show down the card. And that's pretty much it. Like the back end of the poker logic is ready with these many handlers. And as you can see, it's about 630 lines of code, which was about, I think, 500 yesterday. So I did about 120, 130 lines of code today, which wasn't much because I spent around 2.5, 3 hours today writing these logics. And yeah, there's one more handle to write, and then we are good to go to front end. So I'm assuming there's about 30 minutes, 1 hour worth of work left to just to consolidate it, just to make it a little bit prettier as well. Right now it's a little bit unorganized in a way. Like even I can get lost sometimes. 630 lines of code is still quite big clunky. So like good practice would be to have your some of the functions in different file, and keep your main function in here. So like, I mean, the segregation I haven't done so far. I guess that would make the code more robust and more easy to read for now, since I've been writing it from the scratch, so I know where everything is. But if anyone else have to take a look into the code, and they might be a little bit confused, because even though in my mind it's following in order, but from them it would be too much to grasp in just one file. So that's not the best practice. But since I mean, yeah, I wanted to do it in a certain number of days, so I just kept it in one file. I have not organized it in a best fashion. Right. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. As I said, invested about 3 hours or so today. Tomorrow, the plan is to start writing some front end and start testing if there's any bug in the code that's already written, and also looking for ways to connect front end with back end. So that's going to be the main challenge for tomorrow. Hopefully, I would be able to write a code which would form a table in the front end tomorrow, and can help have some widgets which would sort of represent players, and some buttons as well that would represent different actions in the front end tomorrow. That's my goal for tomorrow. For now, yeah, I hope it doesn't look very pretty, but I guess I'll probably be able to know tomorrow whether it does the job or not, because right now it's very difficult to test these APIs or the backend logic when I don't have front end. So yeah, it's gonna happen tomorrow. Well, thank you very much for joining in today, and I'll keep you posted. Only 3 days left after today, so it's gonna be quite close. Hopefully, I'll be able to finish front end in 2 days and be able to connect as well in those 2 days. And then the last day would be for me to just do the finishing touch on the front end or back end if needed, and also test it extensively so that it doesn't have any bugs or would be able to handle all the outlier conditions. That's my hope for the last day. Well, still to be seen. But thank you very much for joining in. I hope I was able to show you the way to start learning to code if you want to. In my opinion, I guess if you are a little bit confused about where to start, I would highly recommend you to start with HTML, CSS, then a little bit of JavaScript, and then Go, and you would be able to like recognize the pattern, recognize the syntax, and at least you'll be able to visualize like how this code will translate into the actions that happens on the browser or that happens on the web page. That's my hope. Well, again, if you have found it useful, I would love for you to subscribe the channel. And if you have any feedback for me, please write it in the comment, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.